Operation Allied Harbor. In the spring of 1999, as NATO aircraft pounded Yugoslav military targets in Operation Allied Force, a different crisis was unfolding on the ground, one that required not missiles, but mercy. The Serbian government, in retaliation for NATO's bombing campaign and in pursuit of ethnic cleansing, began expelling hundreds of thousands of ethnic Albanians from Kosovo. Entire families were forced from their homes, villages were burned, lines of refugees stretched for miles across muddy roads. In just weeks, nearly 1 million people poured into neighboring Albania, overwhelming the country's limited infrastructure and creating a massive humanitarian emergency. NATO responded with Operation Allied Harbor, the first humanitarian mission in its history. Launched in April 1999, Operation Allied Harbor was a rapid deployment of NATO forces to support relief efforts in Albania and provide emergency assistance to the tidal wave of refugees fleeing Kosovo. It was an operation driven not by war fighting, but by urgency, an alliance built for defense transforming itself into a lifeline for the innocent. More than 8,000 troops from 12 NATO nations were deployed to Albania within days. Their mission was clear: assist with logistics, secure key transport routes, support the delivery of food, shelter, and medical care, and ensure that aid agencies could operate safely and effectively. It was a race against time, against disease, and against despair. NATO engineers helped build refugee camps, repaired roads and bridges, and set up water purification systems. Medical teams treated injuries and illnesses. Convoys delivered supplies to remote mountain areas where civilians had fled. Albania, one of Europe's poorest countries, could not cope with the crisis alone. Its infrastructure was strained to the breaking point. But NATO's presence brought order to the chaos. The alliance worked hand in hand with the United Nations, the Red Cross, and numerous NGOs, providing security and logistical support that made it possible for aid to reach those in need. Coordination centers were established. Airlift missions flew in tons of supplies. Helicopters evacuated the most vulnerable. Every action was a testament to what the alliance could achieve when it turned its power to saving lives. Though the operation was non-combat in nature, it was not without risk. The region was unstable, tensions high, and the threat of spillover violence constant. But NATO troops operated with restraint and professionalism, focused not on confrontation, but compassion. In the end, Operation Allied Harbor not only prevented a humanitarian catastrophe, it demonstrated that NATO could evolve beyond its military roots. The mission lasted just 3 months, ending in July 1999, as the war in Kosovo came to a close and peacekeeping efforts under KFOR began. But the impact of Allied Harbor was profound. It was the first time NATO had mobilized solely for humanitarian purposes, and it paved the way for future disaster response missions. It expanded the alliance's image, from a Cold War military bloc to a global actor capable of aiding civilians in crisis. Operation Allied Harbor remains one of NATO's proudest moments. It wasn't about strategy or geopolitics. It was about human beings in desperate need and a collective decision to act. In the face of suffering, the alliance chose compassion over combat, and in doing so, it showed the world a different kind of strength.